Look at all these solar.
A little while back, we spent days making up full-size templates of our rooftop, so Simon from Open Water Solar could design a completely custom set of flexible panels for Delos 2. So why flexible panels? And why so many? Well, for me, it all comes down to self-sufficiency. We want to be able to live comfortably on this boat for long periods of time without constantly thinking about power. We want to be able to run our water maker, our refrigerator, computers, cameras, tools, and all of it adds up. The goal is simple. Make enough energy every day that we can enjoy life aboard without having to fire up the engines or the generator all the time. Now Simon has sent those templates back to us. It's not the actual panels, but just full cut size Tyvek cutouts. Once these panels are made, there is no going back. They're completely custom, so this is our last chance to catch any mistakes. It's such a huge area. Look at how much solar we're gonna have. The entire roof, including the bath.
Love it. What's happening today?
So we did the roof scan of the whole top of the roof, and I sent off that DWG file off to Simon in Canada at Open Water Solar. And then to make sure that everything lines before he actually prints and cuts the panels, he cut out a bunch of large format, basically on Tyvek sheets. He has a big printer. So he cut these out, and what we're gonna do now is just match up the numbers with the layout of the roof. So that's panel 1037, 1039, 1040. We lay them out, make sure that they all work nicely with the weld seams and the elevation changes in the roof and all that stuff. And then we'll know that when the panels actually cut that they'll fit.
I think this is a very good step.
You can never be too double check too much.
I know.
So 1037, Bill. 1037. It took us a little while, and the combined brain power of 3 people to put together this giant puzzle of solar panel templates. But the results are incredible. It's such a huge area. Look at how much solar we're gonna have. It's basically like the entire roof, including the bath, is just gonna be all solar, and we're able to come up pretty close around edges like the hatches and stuff. It's gonna be a really cool process. I think there should be an even 1 centimeter gap around all the hatches, but yeah, I think it's a great proof of concept to just lay out the panels, see how they're gonna fit together. This is the one issue I found, is that there's a weld seam here. So you can see this weld seam under here. And that's exactly why we do this, because for some reason that weld seam either didn't show up or was missed. So if we try to put the panel there, you can see how it's gonna raise up and cause a bubble. So we might see if we can make 2 separate panels, one here and one here with a gap in here. Anyway, that's the status so far, and moving forward. So we have been in Australia for quite a while now, but we're actually building Delos 2.0 so that she can take us all over the world. In a normal sailing season, it's quite easy for us to go through multiple countries, if not multiple continents. A normal cell phone plan would leave us absolutely high and dry or force us to pay incredibly bizarre and high roaming fees, which is why I'm happy to say that the sponsor of today's video is Saily. So Saily is an electronic SIM provider that works in over 200 destinations all over the world. That means no muss, no fuss staying connected when you travel. It is very easy to get started. All you have to do is install the Saily app and pick where you want to get connected in. We travel and jump countries quite a bit, so we tend to stick to the regional plans. For example, the Asian Oceania plan is gonna cover 19 destinations just on that one for us. There's also an Ultra plan, if you're a real globetrotter, that will cover 121 destinations. All you have to do is follow the instructions in the soooo app and it will install the eSIM right directly into your phone. There is no standing in long lines at the airport, no dodgy ID checks, and no physical SIM required. You will be connected in minutes. All you have to do is visit our special link. I will pop it below. It is soooo.com/SV Delos. There's also a QR code that we will put up on the screen. Now, when you use our link, it really helps us out, which we appreciate immensely. You are also gonna get 15% off your next soooo plan by using the code SVDelos at checkout. So that's it. It's easy, get connected, avoid all the crazy roaming charges and the long lines. Visit our link, and thank you so much for your time and watching. And now let's get back to talking about the cool new tech that is gonna power SV Delos in the future. This is a sample of one of the panels. You can see how thin it is, and it's rather flexible, so it'll follow the contours of the roof, and it just has a sticky pad on the back, so you peel this off. It's gonna, they're gonna be the same size as those Tyvek cutouts. This is just a sample, so they'll be rather large. We take them, we stick them down, we connect all the wires up, and that's the process.
How is it wired? Is it like a little thing and then it's like
there's
wires?
little connection points on the end that where the panels meet together, where the wires go onto. They're not shown yet, but on the production panels, they'll be on the edges, and then we run those wires to the connection boxes in the back, and then they go inside the engine rooms on either side to the MPPT controllers.
So there will be like wires running alongside of the panels.
There'll be a pipe that's tacked to the roof for the wires to enter into, so they're nice and hidden and it matches the rest of the boat.
What people usually do is that they just drill holes in the roof. But we have been super kind of like picky. We don't have any kind of holes in this roof, but we don't want to have anyways. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna take this pipe, aluminum pipe, and these are the little marks for where the power is gonna enter. So it enters into this pipe that sits here, and then Dan is gonna basically make, well, it's not sitting in place. Dan is gonna cut holes in this, and then this is gonna run all the way down, and this is where all the power enters into the boat through this, which is very secure, and there's not going to be any leaks. It goes up and then in, so I think it's a really good way of doing it. It would suck to have like this many holes in the boat, just like in the roof. Next step is for Dan to cut the holes in that pipe and to weld it in place. Here. Tell me if I miss any of these casts. And there's enough meat to get in there for the...
Well, this is going to be raised up a little bit, but about 6 mil. So it'll be sitting up like that. Let's just check that with this wire.
How would you raise it up?
Just gonna hold it up and then cold tack it. Just bridge it.
Oh.
She'll just have Dane sit up here all day.
So the water can glue it, not just hold it, run through.
Oh, okay.
So then these wires will come in. Well, they're gonna go backwards, right? So if we're rolling it, it'll be like that. And if it's lifted up a tiny bit, it'll come in like that. Well, that's looking pretty good, Dan. And this actually has a texture to it. It's meant to be non-slip when it's wet, so you can walk on this. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is a rough surface. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. You have any guess what this is?
What do you mean? Solar panels.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you think it is?
It's such a huge freaking area, though. Look at this.
Oh, I'm well aware.
I'm well aware.
It's like a solar farm.
This stupid thing.
It's a giant roof.
Yeah.
Bang.
Solar for days.
How many kilowatts?
I think it'll be around 7, conservatively.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it should look very cool. It'll be like a giant monolithic black roof.
That's really clean.
Yes.
So glad you and Kaza did it, not you and me.
We're powering the whole roof, is powering 8 solar controllers, smart controllers, MPPT controllers. And so to make efficient use of the panels and the voltage and the wire size, a number of these panels are in series. So we put a bunch of panels in series that give us a very high voltage, and then that's the wire that we run downstairs to the engine room and the controllers. So
I mean, is it a pretty new technology, or like
It
I've
is.
never
I
really...
mean, flexible panels have been around for some time. I mean, we had those on Delos, on the Dodger. They lasted about 6 years before they went white and cloudy.
Yeah.
This is a different technology that's new, and so it's a different composition, so they're supposed to have a much longer lifespan. I still need to get the numbers from Simon. So here's the questions I have, like, what's the total lifespan? What is the efficiency rating of their panels, which sort of almost doesn't matter because of the composition of the panels, we can just fit so much more solar. Like when we mapped out the rigid panels, we could fit 3,700 watts, given this form factor, because there's so much wasted space due to the frames and the square structure of the panels. Whereas here we can get almost twice as much.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, so if the efficiency is a few percent less, who cares? You're getting twice as much solar. Yeah, so there are a few questions I'm gonna get from them, like what's the total weight savings, all that stuff, and then. But this is like a great step, and it looks very cool.
Look at all this solar. It's crazy. No way, guys, look at this. So I didn't manage to capture it because I wasn't here, but Danny's got the pipes in for all the power, so it looks awesome. They propped it up like we discussed, where it's a little bit above, so like there's no you know, all the water can go in. You can see here is a slot for the wires, and he also did a really cool thing here. I think that turned out great as well, from this point where it goes and then accesses to here. I think it turned out super nice, and yeah.
A new day has arrived, and with it, another project. This time, Kaz is tackling all the areas that will eventually become our Corian countertops. Corian is a solid surface material made from a blend of natural materials and acrylic resin. It's become a pretty popular choice on boats because it's lightweight, non-porous, easy to clean, and unlike stone, it won't crack as easily under the constant flexing and vibration of life at sea. Another huge advantage is that the seams can be bonded together almost invisibly, making the whole countertop look like a single solid piece. Before any of that can happen though, every surface has to be perfectly prepared and the templates need to be spot on, because once the Corian is cut, there is no going back.
So you do it in different pieces too, and then you join them together?
Yeah.
This will obviously not come in one piece.
Oh, no.
No. How many joints do you need to have?
Yeah,
like,
well, it's
depends on. Yeah.
access,
depends on access, mainly.
Yeah.
And obviously how much you're willing to carry.
Yeah.
How heavy. 24mm thick, and the substrate this is using, it's pretty light.
Okay.
So the material itself is somewhat heavy, but
yeah,
when you start adding in MDF, what we normally use as a substrate, that's when it starts getting.
And when you glue, so you glue them together, the pieces.
Yep, and you won't see it.
Oh, it's like completely
Seamless. Yeah.
Seamless.
Yeah.
Cool. One of the Gaudi benchtop template. It's really cool to see. I love it. Okay, so he's all packed up and ready to go. And I think they said it was going to take about 2 weeks for it to kind of like by the time now, and then when he can come and do the install. So it's not too long. It goes fast. 2 weeks goes like that. Bye!
Well, continuing to make some progress on the port engine room, which is the hybrid side. I just wired up the fuel transfer and filter pump, which is pretty cool. Not super exciting, but there is something that I think is pretty interesting and worth showing, and that's this little guy. I don't know if you can see that, but basically what this is this is a inductive proximity sensor. So this part with the mounts bolts onto the mount of the engine, and then the sensor part sits over the shift selector for the transmission. So basically what it does is through induction, it lets you know if there is an object close to it or not. And so what we're basically trying to do is only allow the electric or the hybrid motor to turn on and be a power source or a drive source when the transmission is in neutral. Because you could imagine what a disaster it would be if we had the diesel engine running in either forward or reverse, and then the electric motor started running. It would basically like destroy the belt or something else very quickly. So with this guy, we can make sure that the electric motor gets locked out and can only operate in charging mode unless we are in neutral. So that's what I'm working on now. Of course, it's very difficult to work in here in that I've got so much stuff installed. It's quite an awkward space to try and get all your hands and everything, but I've got it attached. I decided to mount it under the frame because that way it lowered it a little bit, because I was thinking the sensor needs to be within 4 to maximum 8 millimeters, and they say realistically for stainless steel it's about 5.5 millimeters that it can sense. So I was a little bit further away, so by moving it to the bottom it closed that gap, and I can fine adjust. There's threads on the sensor itself, so I can adjust it vertically. But now I've got to tighten it up. I can also adjust it this way to make sure it gets right over the gear shifter, and then hook up the cable. We should be in business. Okay, it took a little bit of fiddling, but I got it tight and I'm happy with it. It's a proximity sensor centered right over the actuator or the selector for the transmission. And I've probably got like maybe a 4 mil gap in there. And I still have plenty of threads if I want to come down further, or if I feel like that's too close, I'll just wind it up a little bit. And now I just hook up the wire. Here's the wire, it's got a plug on it. And I just go into this guy. And one more thing to check off the list, and only about 8 billion other things to do. Okay, and snap. That's that.
Hi, Michael.
Good morning.
Good, how are you? Huh? Under the weather?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm
Someone
sorry.
gave me a disease. I'm killed now.
So Michael is here again, and he's gonna grab all the panels in the salon, which is really exciting.
Despite feeling pretty rough, Michael was determined to keep things moving. He stopped by to pick up all the saloon panels to take them back to the shop to get upholstered. One thing I've learned during this build is that getting the work done is only half the battle. The real challenge is coordinating it all. Every system depends on another, and every trade has its own schedule, requirements, and priorities. Sometimes it feels like I'm standing in the middle, trying to figure out who needs what, and more importantly, what has to happen first before anybody else can move forward. It's a little bit like solving a giant puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape.
Michael does his marking, so he does all the kind of like, so he knows where it is, where it's going, how the grain is going, and all of that good stuff. Now he's gonna take these panels, he's gonna upholster them in his shop, and then when these are gone, Tony's gonna come in and do the painting, the in-situ painting, hopefully this week, and then the coring comes back, and then the panels comes back. So it's all kind of like the same as we were working on in the porthole, but I feel like we're a little bit more on top of it because it's the second time we do it. So when we do the starboard hull, hopefully it'll be smooth as butter. Okay. Did you like that one? Smooth as butter. Okay. So he just took all the panels and he's off. Packing up. Bye, Michael. His van is not long enough to do the roof panels, so we're gonna have to drive those down to him in the end of the week. Okay, me and Bill are off today because roof panels in the salon, they're like 3.4 meters long. We also have these pieces. So basically, we packed them all in the truck and hopefully we'll make it. It's about a 1 hour drive. So Bill and I are gonna attempt to bring these down on the highway. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think we packed them really good. Let's do this.
What are we doing?
Do this, Bill. We made it! Yay!
Victory.
Now we just unpack it. We're all done, and now we go back to the shop. Easy.
And just like that, there's another episode in the books. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoy it and want to help support what we do, you can check us out over on patreon.com/svdelos, or simply leave a comment below. We genuinely love hearing from you guys, and thanks again for being here. We'll see ya next week.
Why is it so loud right now? Yeah, but why? I think there was one that flew away in the wind. We haven't found that one, so hopefully.
I don't know where it is.
What? We found the missing 14?
It fell into the plumbing locker.
Jeez.
I was gonna film, but now they started jackhammering again, so I don't think you guys can hear me. Such a shame. I put up a long kind of like video time-lapse camera in the corner, but the GoPro turned off, so I completely missed him doing, the galley. Sorry, guys. I had such good intentions, and I planned ahead, and I put a battery pack in, and then it just turned off. Like, are boats the hardest, or is it like the huge ones?
I don't want to paint you all with the same brush, but they're normally the most picky.
Some are harder than others.
Okay, we're gonna start taking some panels down. So the wall panels have to come off before the the roof panels. Oh my god, it's wide view too. I can't do it. So the
It's hard to just stop it out.
they're so massive those.
That's what she said.